This is on
Hey, you're learning something.
Isaiah 11:11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
So we're coming to a point in time where the Most High is getting ready to get all of his people back, which he scattered throughout the nations, throughout the four corners of the earth, who are biblically the Israelites.
That's a fact, Jack.
Which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the isles, or the islands of the sea.
So the Lord's breaking down all these nations, telling you his people are scattered everywhere. They're scattered in Egypt. They're scattered in Asia. They're scattered in Africa.
We're all of them.
They're everywhere. So he said there's going to come a time where I'm going to pick my people out of each nation, specifically the elect. Because it also says 2/3 of his people are not going to hearken unto his word, which will make them heathens. Really, it's blasphemers, but you'll be a heathen at that point, or considered a Gentile.
Well, this is better you get into this than other things.
Did you have any questions?
I was trying to
Did you have any questions?
At least they're doing something in these troubled times. So that's a good thing.
I got this little step that I wanted to bring out, back up what we just brought out. This is out of Daniel 9:7-8. It says, O Lord, righteousness belongs unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day, to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
All right, so what he's saying is, this is a confusion of face, or who you would call today a Gentile, a heathen, that looks like another nation, declaring that the Most High is righteous. He's declaring his faith. And he's saying unto us Israelites that have been scattered amongst these nations, and we look like them now, because it is a curse.
And unto all Israel that are near and that are far off through all the countries. Going back in that last step, we were scattered abroad. It says, whether thou hast driven them because of their trespasses. So it's all meant for a reason. It was all meant for a reason, man. Like the old chick was talking about her bus passing her up, man. That was meant for a reason. Maybe for that moment, for her to just come up for a moment.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it was all for a reason, Going on, it says that they have trespassed against thee. Verse 8, O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers. So, man, Israel could be every shape and size, man.
And it didn't matter how noble you were, everybody fell. From the highest kings that you would hear about, the ones that have these societies that everybody would go to trade with, the Meccas, to the lowest slaves from Rome and Babylon and Greece and Assyria. Everybody was a part of these curses if you're an Israelite.
It says, because we have sinned against thee.
And like you said, because of sin, which is transgression of the law. That's 1 John 3:4.
Fall of man.
And really, we follow man. Like we just got earlier in the day, because Israel wanted to go down into Egypt as soon as we fell from grace, or we fell in our kingdom. We said, well, Israel, who's the next strongest nation? It's Egypt. So we'll go to them for help. And what did they do? They said, well, this is a weak nation now. They were over us. Now we have them under our grasp. That's free labor. And they took advantage of it, and they enslaved us. But it was prophesied, because we didn't go back to the Most High. We went unto man, just like this man said. We sought after man to solve spiritual problems.
Nope.
Old dude, at my workplace, man. Old dude, he was telling me about so he's a so-called Mexican. Mexican, through his spirit, seems like he's a dick. But no, he was telling me, man. He's like, don't you think it's weird when you run into another Mexican that speaks Spanish, and then when they find out that you don't speak Spanish, they look at you sideways, man.
Huh?
And then I looked at him. I was like, I was like, man, it's because they took trust and got killed and raped and murdered and took hold of these customs, man.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, it's just like if Russia came over here today and took over the Americas. All right, eventually down the road, everybody's gonna start speaking Russian. You know.
Or the ones that didn't, that wanted to resist a bit, they'd be taken care of.
Yeah.
Just like they were in the past. You spoke a little bit of Hebrew, you get an arm chopped off.
Yep.
You speak some more, your baby gets killed. You speak a little more, your whole line it's singed. There were severe punishments for being who you were back in the day. And now you got people so damaged from that, they're running away from it because spiritually they know what happened in the past. That's why they want to call themselves black. That's why they want to be Puerto Rican. That's why they want to go run into Trump when a hurricane hits them. Because the Most High is fucking them up because they fucked up. And I got a quick step before you get that out. And this is Hosea chapter 8, verse 4. They have set up kings, but not by me. They have made princes, and I knew it not. Of their silver and their gold have they made them idols, that they may be cut off. So you got Israel running everywhere, but to the Most High, because the Most High just gave them a severe ass whooping. It's like when you see a child act up in the store and then their mother is about to whoop the shit out of them. They start running because they're scared. That's what Israel's doing today.
Yeah, they'll run to the damn cops before they run back to their parents.
They'll run the cops that literally they're protesting that just killed their baby, but oh, this man just raped me. Oh, it was a cop. That's how bad Israel is. Because they don't want to take the ass whooping. But the elect, they're going to take the ass whooping now because we're tired of this shit. I'd rather get a stern ass whooping and know my lesson than go through folly and stumble my entire life.
Yeah, man. Living a life of confusion, man, and simple.
Simplicity. How long will you simple ones less simplicity?
Exactly, man.
It's Lock Dog. I know you had a sub. That was it. That was it.
Come on.
What's up, bro? Remember me? Good to see you again, brother.
I always remember spirits.
Yes, sir.
And that's a perfect example of the Daniel 9 and 7, because where were you born, brother?
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Oh, but according to some groups, if you're from Africa, you're not an Israelite. Who the fuck are you to say that?
But just like you said, brother, you remember the brother's spirit, that he is an Israelite, and he knows he's an Israelite. He don't even need us to tell him he's an Israelite, because he knows it.
He came up, he's like, I'm an Israelite, you're an Israelite. That's the spirit coming together. That's the spirit in action. You can't make this up. I never knew him. And technically, I still don't know him. But I know you. That's the part.
In the Bible, it says, those who know the Most High worship in spirit and truth.
Yep, that's right.
I have a question concerning the identity of the Hebrew Israelites, because I see a lot of camps, they be like, oh, because you're from Africa, because you don't fit the curses, like Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, where it says that, you be our ships in Egypt and you see Israel no more, but those camps don't consider that we have a lot of people back in Africa that are Hebrew Israelites. They may not know it.
Right.
Like, for example, I see among the Yoruba tribe, when I read the laws of Deuteronomy, I see a lot of that in my culture. Like, oh wow,
they match up.
Yeah, like almost like a puzzle.
Yo.
So I wonder if you can explain to some of the camps that, they don't consider people from India as Israel or Africa or Aborigines.
Right.
that don't specifically fit the curses. I feel like they should do more research. Like, which one is Hamite and which one is Hebrew Israelite? That's the thing that I kind of will have a problem with. Like ISUPK, I know that they hate the African.
Yeah.
But if you go by the Bible, I'm not really African because African is from a white man's.
Yeah, Amerigo Vespucci.
Even the country Nigeria.
Africa Civicanis.
Even the country Nigeria, before Europeans came to Africa, there's no Nigeria, there's no Togo. They would just have our own
tribal lands.
Tribal lands.
And a lot of those lands were in Hebrew names.
Like Ghana. Ghana is a Hebrew name. Yoruba, Igbo, the Ewe, the Fon tribe, all those West African tribes that you see.
And that's where we ran.
Yeah.
The Israelites, when we were being chased down out of our land, we ran to West Africa to hide amongst the Hamites. Because they were all dark. We were all dark, so we were like, okay, we can chill with them.
In fact, do you know Olaudah Equiano? Have you heard his story? I think I'm
not familiar with it.
Equiano Olaudah. He comes from the
Luke
Igbo tribe,
21
right? So he was telling the story of how he got kidnapped by the slave traders, both
We'll get it right away.
the African and the European.
Go ahead and get your set
He
first.
saw people from different ethnic groups that have his culture. They were to circumcise, do all the things that we practice in the Bible. But then he saw certain people that were completely foreign, that didn't practice those. Yeah, so the people like ISUPK, they should, instead of completely write the entire Africa as Hamites, they should do some more study and research.
Well, they actually don't study at all.
And that's even all the nations, because all the nations were scattered abroad, all the nations, but especially Africa. Africa has a lot of Israelites there. Because, historically, and we're going to grab it in the scripture, but, they ran into the West, fleeing Roman persecution in 70 AD.
Yeah.
I wanted to get this.
Okay.
It's just what you were talking about, too.
Okay.
This is out of the book of Ruth. Ruth 1:1. It says, "Now it came to pass in the day when ye judges ruled, that there was a famine in the land." So you gotta understand too, is that it wasn't just war, people putting people in captivity. Man, there's disasters, just like any other place. Matter of fact, with these hurricanes going on, they ain't gonna probably be able to live there. They'll have to probably travel time to time.
Which would you say is more destructive, a hurricane or a war?
Hurricane. It could go in.
It could go either way. So that's what I'm saying.
It says, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab. So he went to the country of Moab, which is consisting of the so-called Chinese. Okay. So it says he and his wife and his 2 sons, and the name of the man was Elimelech. Slocky, I can't pronounce that. Right up on 2. Elimelech. Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Maholan. Well, I'm going to jump down a couple. It says on verse 3, and the Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left, and her 2 sons, and they took them wives of the women of Moab. So you got to understand, man. They took on wives of Chinese women. So you got to. And
that's where Jesse, which was David's father, came from that seed.
Yeah, so
that seed was put in the Moabite woman and brought out looking. Had to have been looking a little confusion of face, at least a little.
But the thing was, the Israelites at the time knew he was not of the seed of Israel.
God.
It's like, what's the analogy? If you take an apple seed and you plant it in different soils around the world, it's going to bring up different trees. different types of trees, but it's still gonna be an apple. But you do the same thing. If I take different seeds and plant them in the same soil, it's gonna be different fruits. But people will have you believe the logic today is if I take the seed of a man and implant it in the soil, which is the woman of that nation, then my seed becomes the fruit of that nation. That's the logic people are trying to do with this whole grafting in with the olive tree. It makes no sense. Because your seed is your seed.
You gotta understand, throughout time, they'd probably start looking like a so-called Chinese person, for instance, their sons having Chinese women, and eventually going down and down,
Yeah.
So, like we were getting on earlier, is that, Israel could come in every shape and size, man.
Yeah, so that's why I think ISUPK and maybe IUIC, they should just go.
Yeah, because you don't see confusion of faces really ever in those camps.
You could be preaching the Bible to an Israelite that he don't know that he's an Israelite, and if you just like he's from maybe Africa or Europe, and he don't know that he's an Israelite, and you're telling him, oh, you're not one of the, you don't fit the criteria. You don't know that because
then you're scattering the Heavenly Father's sheep at that point.
Yeah, and besides, I think the Most High didn't say in the scriptures that in the last days he will come and he will pick up people from all.
Jump back to that Isaiah 11, Jump back to that Isaiah 11 that we were getting, 11 and 11.